Boo! King Boo. He wasn't in this movie, though. Bye, Boo. What is up, everybody? Random Man here. Once again, outside, walking around my backyard, enjoying this nice spring weather. As I said in my previous video, happy spring. Today, more specifically, happy Good Friday to everyone that celebrates this holy day, holy week leading up to Easter this Sunday. As you saw from my intro and under my jacket here, I'm wearing red for the occasion, but that is not why you are watching this video. You are watching this video for me to bring you my review for the Super Mario Galaxy movie in one take. Based on the Super Mario Galaxy video games and the broader Super Mario franchise as a whole, the plot of this animated adventure comedy film follows the titular Mario, Luigi, and his friends as they adventure out into outer space to rescue Princess Rosalina and face off against Bowser and his son, Bowser Jr. Going into this movie, I was not really expecting much out of it. Now, going back to my history with the Super Mario Brothers franchise, of course, some of the most iconic video games ever made. Debatably, Mario himself is the most iconic video game character of all time. Just this past year, he has celebrated 40 years in just being a video game icon and just coming onto the scene after coming out of the video game crash of the mid-1980s. And of course, I've played quite a few Mario games in my life. They range from the original games, Mario Kart, of course, Super Smash Brothers, which is a compilation of all things Nintendo and other franchises with Mario, a bunch of stuff like that. So we got the big screen animated feature film, the Super Mario Brothers movie, a few years ago in 2023, and I thought it was okay. I enjoyed it for what it was mostly. The animation was quite stunning and recreating a lot of moments, and a lot of fan service galore for fans of Nintendo and Mario are there, but in terms of plotting and its narrative, it was pretty lacking, and that's what held it back for me. But of course, that didn't stop audiences around the world from really loving this movie more than I did, as it made over $1.3 billion. And now we have the sequel, and instead of going to Super Mario World, we're going straight into the Super Mario Galaxy echelon, if you would. And to my knowledge, given that I've never played the Super Mario Galaxy games specifically, I know that they are more story-based games, so I thought that there would be more lore, of course, played around with the movie, and just more to explore with characters and other stuff with the sequel. So that was one thing that gave me a sense of optimism for this sequel. But in any sense, starting out with the cast and their vocal performances, once again, we have Chris Pratt coming back to voice Mario. Now, of course, there was a lot of criticism back when he was cast as this character back then, and not getting the original voice actor for Mario to play him in the movie. Now, I mean, he does what he does. I mean, he's Chris Pratt voicing Mario without too much of the stereotypical Italian accent that the character is known for. Same with Charlie Day as his brother Luigi. They're here. They don't get that much to do in hindsight, as there's a lot of things going on with this movie, at least in terms of how it is visually and all of the imagery together. I mean, they're fine. They do what they got to do. Also returning is Anya Taylor-Joy as Princess Peach, and she's also there, of course. Keegan-Michael also comes back as Toad. Toad is my personal favorite Mario character. Jack Black also returns as Bowser, the villain from the first film. He remains a highlight of these movies. I thought that he was one of the bright spots of the first film, of course, with the Peaches song, nominated for a Golden Globe Award. Very, very catchy. There's even a small callback to that song in this sequel. And we have a few new members of the voice cast here. We have Brie Larson as the voice of Princess Rosalina. Now, instead of Princess Peach being the one captured here, it is Princess Rosalina. And after the opening scene, she is basically just held captive the entire time in this movie. And, you know, I've been a big fan of Brie Larson for a long time. I love Larson, though it's clear she got this role because she has been glazing Nintendo for a while on her social media and all that stuff, and she doesn't get that much to do. I mean, she's just there like a lot of the other voice actors in this film. Then we have Bowser Jr., the son of Bowser, voiced by Benny Safdie, and kind of echoing what Jack Black did with playing Bowser the first time around, and in the sequel he actually does put on a performance that is not too recognizable. I mean, he is not as big of a name as Jack Black, so when I heard Jack Black voicing Bowser in the first film, it's like, okay, he's actually not doing his entire Jack Black shtick completely. But here with Bowser Jr., I thought he was good with being a foil for the characters here, and just having an attempt with father-son moments in this film, even though, kind of like the first film, there's not that much here in terms of plotting. And yeah, there's other references and characters and stuff that do pop up here and there, including one that was spoiled very closely to this movie's release just a couple of days ago. I mean, come on. But I'm not going to say who this character is in case you don't know. But in any sense, yeah, the voice acting is mostly serviceable, I think, just for how this movie is moving along. And then getting into how this movie is narratively, the same writer and directors from the first film do return for this movie, and I said that the first film was lacking in terms of plotting and narrative, and I thought that this film would amp it up at least, given that it's a sequel and it's bigger in scale, going to the literal galaxy and just hopping around between different places. But that is not the case here. There's even less story this time around, or even less that is expanded upon from the first film. I mean, you still get Mario here crushing on Peach, the whole father-son dynamic between Bowser and Bowser Jr. Bowser Jr. kidnaps Princess Rosalina, and then there's also the inclusion of Yoshi, who I forgot to mention in the vocal cast because I didn't think there was much to him. He's voiced by Donald Glover, apparently, though when you hear him talk, yahee, or however the voice goes, you just hear him say that and other vocal inflections. You can't tell it's Donald Glover. I mean, you could have gotten anybody to voice this character. But, you know, I like Yoshi. As a character, I thought the inclusion of Yoshi was cool after being teased in the post-credit scene of the first film. But anyway, other than that, with these other inclusions and other stuff that fans of Mario and Nintendo in general are going to like, there isn't that much here to really grab onto in terms of substance. This film just moves along at a very, I wouldn't say breakneck speed entirely, but I think that it does move along very rapidly. So there's always something going on. That's something I will give this film. And there's also a sense of how we are treated to all the visuals and animation here, just like with the first film. And it is super stylishly animated. This movie is one of the better looking Illumination animated movies that they have ever put out here, since this is the same studio behind the Despicable Me and Minions franchise. So we see that there's a lot of the designs here that harken back to the games, kind of modeling themselves after the modern 3D renditions of the Mario characters and universe as a whole, but also looking very cinematic. I saw this movie on the big screen that is the equivalent to a large premium format from my local theaters chain. Shout out to Classic Cinemas. I always shout them out whenever I get a chance to do so. And it looked and sounded great in their DTX auditorium with the XQ format here. And the music I have to give a shout out to as well. Brian Tyler returns to compose this film like from the first film. And aside from the annoying needle drops from the first movie, there are a couple here that are not as annoying as in the first film, but the actual original score by Tyler is very orchestral, very epic in moments, because it's the mixing of certain elements from the iconic Mario theme song and other sound effects, everything together. This movie looked and sounded great. I have to give it big points for that as well. The movie runs at just under 100 minutes, including the end credits, which there's a mid-credit scene that's mostly played up for laughs, and there's a post-credit scene that is teasing what could come for the future. But I mean, knowing how this movie is going to be a big success like the first film, a guaranteed billion-dollar picture, we know we're probably going to get the next one sooner rather than later. And the movie theater I was in was packed. I mean, I saw this thing at 11:15 in the morning, and granted, a lot of kids are out on spring break, so families are out doing stuff, and then also today is Good Friday. I just so happened to have gotten the day off of work today, and decided to go head out and see this thing, because I know it's going to be big. It is going to be big. It's already big. And for fans of Mario and Nintendo alike, I'm not going to slight them too much for, wanting to see something like this that they have played so lovingly and now portrayed in theatrical feature film extent, much like the first film. In terms of my enjoyment, though, by the second half of the movie, I was kind of out of it, because it's like, okay, it's going through similar motions that what we've seen before, not just in the previous film, but in other movies like this. Again, meant for kids and families, and seeing all the cool visuals and stuff. It wasn't as funny as the first film, I thought, either, at least from what I recall. There was only a few good chuckles that I got out of seeing the Super Mario Galaxy movie in total. And even compared to another animated film recently, just this past month, Disney and Pixar's Hoppers, I thought that was a legit funny movie, hilarious in many moments. And that is still in theaters right now, too. So if you somehow don't get into a screening for the Super Mario Galaxy movie, you can go ahead and see Hoppers if you haven't already. I definitely recommend that film, and I do think it is the superior animated film. It has a little something for everyone, no matter if you are gravitating towards the plot or not. I mean, Pixar movies usually have that kind of universal appeal, no pun intended. I mean, Universal Pictures was the studio that put out the Super Mario movies, and there is something for everyone to like here, because Mario is such a multi-generational franchise. Again, having just celebrated its 40th anniversary last year with the very first video game, so seeing it is gonna be something that is going to pass the time. I can think of worse ways to pass the time, at least in comparison to other stuff, but I just pointed out a superior example that is also playing in theaters right now. But yeah, I mean, with all that being said here, this doesn't have much substance. It has less substance than a power-up, as I said in my 10-word out of the theater reaction for this movie on Facebook that I always post before doing a proper review here on YouTube. But yeah, all in all, the movie was very middle of the road for me. I liked it a bit less than the first film, and I thought the first film was just okay. But even with that, it wasn't bad, but I didn't think it was good either. So in the realm of mediocrity, I think that is where this film sits, for me at least. Don't take my entire word for it in terms of seeing this movie. And the sun just went away. But because I think that, again, Mario and Nintendo fans alike are going to go see this thing, maybe see it multiple times to catch all the references, all things like that. But yeah, so I would say watch this at your own risk. You know if you're going to be a fan of this or not, whether you liked the first film or not, and give all of that, give all of that some consideration and take it what you will. With all of that being said, my final verdict for the Super Mario Galaxy movie is 2.5 out of 5 stars. Thank you all, as always, for watching. Be sure to like this video, comment on what you thought of the Super Mario Galaxy movie, social media links in the description, subscribe to my channel for more, and I'll catch you on the next movie review.